Hello everybody! Welcome to another video from Code Shots with Profanis. In this video, we will see how to use the latest version of NGXS, which is 18, in a to-do list based on Angular 18 as well. Stay till the end of this video to learn how to install NGXS using schematics, how to create a store using schematics, how to create actions, again using schematics, and how to modify the existing code and adapt it to your needs. Without any further delay, let's get started. This is the application that we are going to work with. And let's get familiar a bit with what we're seeing. And as you can see here, we have the add an item. And the idea is that whenever we add something here, we will click the add button and this will become an incomplete item. And then as soon as we mark this item as done, we expect this item to be moved here into the completed items. And you might be wondering what will happen if, for example, we disable this one, we uncheck that. Of course, we'll have to move this item down. Nice. So this is how the application looks like. So let's now go to VS Code and see what we have there. So here we have the to-do list. And if I open this item, we can see that here we have the add button. And then we'll have two different card items. The first item is the mat card, where we have the complete to-do items, and the other one, if we scroll down a bit, we have the incomplete to-do items. And as you can see, for both of them, I'm using the same template, which is the to-do items. So if we scroll down a bit, this is the to-do items, which accepts one argument, the to-do items, and we are iterating over this one. Here we have the checkbox, where it is going to be checked if this is completed is true. And then here we have the toggle item method, and we have to implement that by providing this item. So this is how this looks like in terms of the HTML. And if I go into the to-do list component, what we have here, I have the default ones, the complete to-do items, which is a signal to-do model. And by default, I have only one item here. And the same goes with incomplete to-do items, where I have just one default item here. And like we saw previously, this is the method where we have to toggle and we have to implement that. And we also have to implement the add item. And we will also make use of the to-do service, which is a service based on the JSON placeholder, a free API, where we are grabbing the to-dos and we have the get, create, and update completed. And we will see which methods we're going to use. So let's now start, open this one, open the terminal, and let's start by installing NGXS into our application, and like we said previously, using schematics. The command is ng-add ngxs/store, and we'll have to click enter. The current version is NGXS 18, but there is a minor bug into the NGXS version 18, which is not aligned with Angular 18. This bug got fixed, but it's not yet deployed. So I know that this is fixed, and that's why I'm going to use the dev. And we're going to grab the latest merges. So let's see what will happen if we click the enter button. So we'll get the message, the package NGXS store dev will be installed and executed. Would you like to proceed? Yes, of course. And then we'll have this message. Do you want to skip package installation? Let's click no here. And these are all the plugins that NGXS supports. And we'll have the developer tools plugin, the form plugin, hot module replacement, logger, router, storage, and WebSocket. But we're not going to use any of them for this video. So let's just click enter. And it says that package is installed successfully. So let's go now into the packagization to see what we have. And we have the NGXS store version 18, and since we grab the dev version, that's why we have this dev master code. Nice. So the next step now is to create the store. So let's open this one, and we would like to create the store under this directory. So let's type the command first. The command is ng-generate. What do you want to generate? Well, I would like to generate an ngxs/store. And let me explain what this is all about. So the NGXS store is the actual package that we have installed, and this package has different schematics, and we care about store, at least for now. So we're generating a store from the NGXS store package. Nice, but you might be wondering, what is a store? Well, actually, a store is a container where the state or states live. And by creating this one, we expect to have a store and actually a state as well. And we will see in details what this is. But before I do that, I would like to provide also the path. And my path for this is the to-do directory, and I would like that under the store directory. What name would you like to use for the store? Let's do to-do. And here we have src app to-do store. So let's go there to see what we have. Under the src app to-do, we have the store, and under the store we have the to-do, which is the actual state, and we name that this name, where we have the to-do action, to-do state, and which is the unit test, and the to-do state, which is the actual state file where we're going to have our logic. So let's focus a bit into the to-do state and start working with this one. At the very bottom, we can see that we have the to-do state model, which has by default the items of a string array, and this is the schema of this state. This means that our state will have actually just the items, which is going to be just an array. And this represents just our state. Something like that. So you know what? We're not going to have just the items, but we need to have also here the to-do items. So I will have that something like that, to-dos. And our to-dos will be of type to-do model. And if we go into the definition of to-do model, this has a user ID, an ID, a title, and a completed. Nice. So let's close this one. Or you know what? I don't think that we eventually need to have the items here. So I will delete that. And here we have a complaint. And the complaint is that the items does not exist in the to-do state model. But now our model has just the to-dos. So let's use that there. So here we have by default a selector. We're not going to use that. And then we'll have here just the action, which is the action handler. And whenever this action is being dispatched, this method will be invoked. But before even we have to go there, let's go to the application to see what we have eventually to implement. So if we go to the browser, at first we have to get the items. We have to get the items to know what kind of items we have as complete or incomplete items. So let's start doing that by implement the get. So since we have to create something about get, I will go to the definition, which is under the to-do actions. And you know what? I'm going to delete everything from here, and I'm going to create just a namespace here. And I will name that to-do actions. And at first, we'll have to create an action, export class get. And this is going to be just a static, read-only type. And please note that this type should be unique, equals, and then we'll have here to provide the name. And this is very common to avoid having any conflict. Like I said previously, the type should be unique. And we'll have this kind of context here to make it unique in the whole application. If we didn't have the to-do here, chances are to have more than one get actions. So this is our to-do actions get, and the idea is, let's go directly into our application, into the to-do list. And what we want to do is, into the constructor, we would like to dispatch this action. Dispatch the action whenever we are visiting the to-do list, so that we can then grab the items from the HTTP API. And to do that, at first, we need to inject the store. So I will have here private store equals inject. What we would like to inject? I would like to inject store from NGXS store. And then I would like to grab this one and go into the constructor and be like, you know what? I would like to use the store, and I'm going to dispatch an action. And my action will be not this one, but I have to go and grab the to-do actions namespace. Oh yeah, actually that was correct. Add the import, and yeah, this is what we have to do. So let's now go to the to-do state and start implementing. And I will rename this to a get. And I would like to bind this method to an actual get of the to-do actions. So here I would like to have my to-do actions. get, we do not have any payload here. And you know what? I will delete everything. And the only thing that I'm going to do is to have just a console log get action dispatched. And this is what we care about. And we're going to delete this as well. So let's go to our application to see what we have. If I open the developer tools and reload the application, and actually we would expect here to see this kind of thing, but we are not. Why? Well, let's go back to VS Code and understand the following, that the to-do state is just a class existing in the file system, but Angular is unaware of this state file. So we have to provide that. And if we go to the app config, as you can see here, we have the provide store, which registers, let's say, which provides the store into our application. But here we have also to provide our states. And for this one, I'm going to grab the class name, which is the to-do state, and have it here. I will import that, and now let's go again to the browser to see what we have. And as you can see here, we have the get action dispatched. Nice. It seems that we managed to successfully register our state into our application. And now let's focus into the to-do state. And like I said previously, we have a to-do service here where we're grabbing some to-do items from the JSON placeholder. So let's grab the to-do service, and I will inject it here. And then what we have to do is just this to-do service, and we'll have to get all the items. No more than that. And you know what? We're going to do this whenever this get method is being invoked. So I think in this case, it would be much better to use the first value from, have an async here, await, and also have the to-do items. So we're now sure that whenever we are invoking this action, we're dispatching this action, this handler will run, and the to-do items will have the actual to-do items. Nice. And now we have to grab and add these items into our state. And I mean, we have to add the items here into this array. We can use the ctx set state and provide here the to-dos and to-do items. Nice. So since we have now some to-do items into the to-dos array, it's time to start querying some items so that we can present them to our list. So for this reason, I'm going to create here one more file, and I will name that todo.queries. And here I'm going to have an export class todo-selectors. And you know what? I'm going to use the new utility functions from NGXS, which are very powerful and makes actually our life easier. So I will name that static get slices, and I'm going to use the createPropertySelectors. Let's see if VS Code manages that. No, so I will do that manually. Nice. So this is the one, and actually what this guy is doing is that into the slices will return the properties of our state. So here we'll have to provide the actual state, and I will explain. I would like to grab this one, to do state, and we'll have to add this here. So let's understand what is happening with this utility function. If I go into the to-do state, what we're seeing here is that we have the to-dos, which actually is part of the to-do state model. If we had also the items here, and the items could be, I don't know, whatever, a string array, or we could even have another property, name, I'm just making things up. Then the get slices will have to-dos, items, and name. Since we have them here, let's go now and try to use them. So like we said previously, this is our way to query some data. So let's go to our component and use this data. I'm going to go to this component, and what we need to do is to query these items. And you know what? I'm going to replace this one, the complete to-do items, with this query. So I'm going to be like this store dot. I would like to select, and please note here to have select once, and select signal, and select snapshot as well. But for now, let's focus into the select and select signal. Select will return an observable, whereas select signal will return, well, a signal. So let's go with this one, select signal, and here we have to provide the actual selector. And the actual selector is this one, todo-selectors.getSlices. So let's do that. To do selectors, let's import this guy. And if I do get slices, so if we click dot, we expect here to have all the property items, but we did not have them. Why? So let's go here into the get slices and help that a bit. This is a generic type, and here we can provide the actual type of the to-do state. And what is this? It's our to-do state model. This is our structure of our state slice. So I will grab the to-do state model and I will add this here. So now if we go back to our to-do list component and click dot, as you can see here we have the items, name, and to-dos. And of course we care only for to-dos. And you know what? I don't want to forget them, so let's delete the items and the name. Nice. At this point, since we managed to grab these items, let's go to browser to see what we have. And it seems that we have some items. We have some completed items, incomplete items, and everything are under the same list. Awesome. This seems to work just fine. And if we scroll further down, it seems that the other one, the incomplete items, has just the default item. So let's improve that now. Let's improve that a bit by creating two different queries. So up to this point, we are done with our state, and we do not expect to do, at least for now, we're not going to do anything here. The only thing that we would like to do now is just the queries. Just go here and add our logic. And in our case, we would like to have the complete to-dos and the incomplete to-dos. So I will do the following. I would like to have a static get completed to-dos. And this is going to be a create selector from NGXS store. So how is this working? This create selector utility can also depend on other selectors. So we can utilize more than one selectors. And in our case, we would like to use the to-do selectors dot get slices dot to-dos. And as a second argument, we can provide our function. Let me close this. And this is going to be my to-dos. And we'll have to apply here our logic. So as you can see, this is an array, and we are providing the selectors. So we are grabbing just all the to-dos from these get slices. We'll have them here, and now we'll have just to apply our logic. So let's do that. So our logic will be the to-dos, and we would like to filter them with the completed. And actually, this is what we need to have. We need to have only the complete to-dos. You know what? I'm going to duplicate that, and I will create one more, and this is going to be the get incomplete to-dos, and I will simply invert this guy. So let's now go to our component and do the following. This is our completed to-dos, and I don't want to grab the get slices, but instead I would like to grab the get complete to-dos, and I will do sort of the same thing into the get incomplete to-dos. Get incomplete to-dos. Nice. So let's go to browser to see what we have. And it seems that here we have the complete items. And if I scroll further down, we even have some incomplete items. So let's now add some more logic. And the logic that I would like to do is to toggle the items. Whenever I click this one, I would like this guy to be here. And whenever I click this one, I would like this guy to be here. So let's do that. To work with this one, if we start with the to-do list component, as you can see, we have the toggle item. So what do we have to do? We have to dispatch an action. And the action could be, let's say, update complete, something like that. So let's go to the actions and create one more class here. Export class update complete. Since this is what we're going to do, we're going to update just the complete, and we'll have to provide here the name, update, complete, and into the constructor we can provide our arguments, action arguments. At first we need to have the ID of our to-do, which is a number type, and you know what, let's also have the whole to-do model. Nice. So since we have that, this action, we can now go into the state and start using that. So I will simply copy and paste this one, and I would like to have my update complete. I will name this to update complete. And as the first argument, as you can see here, we have the context. And the context is the way to interact with the actual state. As a second argument, we can provide the action arguments. And what are the action arguments? We'll have the ID and we'll have the to-do. So here we can have the ID and to-do from the update complete. Nice. So we don't need this for now, but what we'll have to do is to grab the actual state. So my actual state is ctx grab the state, and we'll have to do something with this state. Actually, what we'll have to do is to grab the to-do items, and then I can provide a map and do some logic here. And the logic that I would like to have is actually this one. If the item ID, which is the to-do item ID, equals to the provided ID, the one that we have here, then I would like to toggle the completed flag. And in any other case, I would like just to return the item as is. And we know that the map returns a new array, so let's grab this array. This is the updated to-do items equals to something, and then we have to grab these updated to-do items and update the state. So currently this is something that has nothing to do with the state, but we'll have to do that. So I will do ctx.setState, and I'm going to replace the entire state for now. So I will have here to-dos with update to-do items. So let's see if this actually works. This is our action, the update complete, and we'll have to go into our to-do list component and do the following. The store, and we would like to dispatch an action, and the action is the update complete. And we're providing the to-do item and the actual to-do, which currently we're not using this at all, the to-do item. Perhaps we don't need that. We will see. So let's go to browser to see what we have. So what will happen if I mark this as complete? It seems that it moved up. And how about this one? And if I search for quiz, and this is the one that we have. Nice. It seems that this works just fine. And how about if I click this item? So I will have here just to search for this guy. And if I click this guy and search, we can see that this is now moved down into the complete items. Nice. So it seems that our update to do actually worked. And the other one that we can do is just add a new item. So let's do that as well. And again, let's go at first into the to-do list component. Into the add item, what we have to do, again, we have to dispatch an action to add a new to-do item. So let's first go into the to-do actions, and we'll have to create one more class. And this is going to be our add to do, or just simply like that, add. And as you can see here, we have the to do, which is our context, add, and we're providing as an argument a to do, which is the actual to do model. And now we have to go into the to do state. And you know what? I'm going to copy and paste this. This is going to be add. This is going to be add. And we'll have also to replace this guy. And the arguments of this one is, let's see, we'll have just a to do. So we don't have the ID, we have just a to do. So I will delete everything here so that we'll start working from scratch. And in this time, we're going to work also with a service. And our service has this to-do service. We have the method create, which accepts, let's see, a to-do name. So I will do to-do title, no more than that. And again, I'm going to wrap that into the first value from. And now we have to add this new to-do item into our state. I'm not going to use the set state, but this time I'm going to patch the state. And let me explain what is happening. Into the patch state, I'm patching this one, the to-dos, and then I'm adding the existing to-do items into this one, and I'm also adding the new one. And it's up to us if this is going to be at the end or at the beginning. You know what? Let's add that here, in the beginning of the array. So this means now that if I go to the to-do list component and I dispatch this action, we expect this to work. So let's do that. Restore dispatch. What are you going to dispatch? I would like to dispatch the new to-do actions add. And I'm going to just provide here this one. Since we're providing just the name, I don't think it makes sense here to have the actual to-do model. So the only thing that I'm going to have here is the to-do name, which is of type string. And let's go to the to-do state and do this change as well. So this would be to-do name. And I will have here just the to-do name. No more than that. And then into the to-do list component, I'm simply going to send as an argument to this action the to-do name. Awesome. So let's see what we have. Add an item, NGXS is amazing. And if I click add, let's see what we have. And here it is. We have the NGXS is amazing into the incomplete items. And if I click this as complete, we expect to see that here, NGXS is amazing. So that was the last thing that I wanted to show you. So let's go to VS Code and summarize to see what we have done. So we use the schematics to install and create the store. We adapted the code so that we can use anything that we need, and the adaptations were the following. Well, into the state, we changed the type, the to-do state model. We have the to-dos, and this is our type. We set the default to-dos as an empty array. And then into the actual to-do state, we had three actions. We had the get, we had the update complete, and we also have the add. And every one of them has the respective logic. And we also utilize the to-do service into the get and into the add. And in a real-life scenario, we also have to have the to-do service integrated with the update complete. But since we're using a free API, this API doesn't support updates. And other than that, don't forget to register the to-do state into the app config. So if I go here now into the app config, as you can see, into the provide store, we'll have the to-do state. And we created here the actions. Into a namespace, we'll have the get, we'll have the update complete, and we'll have the add. And we also have the queries, which is an amazing part by using the createPropertySelectors. And this returns the actual slices of that state. And we provided here the generic name, the to-do state model, to help that recognize the actual properties. And we created some selectors, actually two different selectors. The first one is the get complete to-dos. And what we said here is that this guy, what is doing is that we are providing another selector, and that selector becomes an argument into our arrow function. And we are grabbing the to-dos with this logic, and we're doing the same thing here. And then we went into the to-do list component, and we used this store select signal, and we selected the completed to-dos and incomplete to-dos. I think this was a bit of a lengthy video, but I hope it will help you jumpstart with NGXS and equip you with the required knowledge to continue further. It would be amazing if you could leave a comment with your thoughts on this version and say also what else would you like to see, and I will do my best to create a video for you. And as always, thanks for watching, and do not forget to subscribe and click the ring bell. See you in the next video.